Data is being sent. Data is being sent. You guys know me though. I don't until I see it. It's not good. I have to see it. There's a little bit of a delay. I know that, but you guys got to understand. I don't have a. There we go. I have seen it. And it is good. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon to all my East Coasters. Good morning to all my West Coasters. Hope you're having a nice lunch and or breakfast. Good evening to everyone in the evening time zone. And, of course, to everyone in the future in New Zealand and Australia. I hope the future's well. Please solve climate change for the rest of us. Shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. Our friends over at ZT.com, ZHITEA.com. Their tea kind of rules. The Raspberry Pecan, Monk's Blend, two of my personal favorites. You can get their tea wholesale because of the pandemic. Please do check them out for all your tea needs. And our friends over at triageoil.com, TRIAGE oil.com. Trendy name makes topical pain oil you put on your body. It has done wonders for my neck, and he educates the public on cannabis issues with his show, triageoil.com. And a quick announcement, I think my channel has been remonetized. We had to go through some transitionary changes, and we had to reapply and start all over again. So it's been a process, but I think we are back, and you should be able to super chat it up. So that is good news. But without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest in today to talk about what's happening. There's apparently an inauguration thing going on that I've been watching in real time. But please welcome my buddy, who I will someday be traveling with again, Mr. Graham Elwood. What's up, buddy?
Oh, the idea of going on the road, Ron. Like I would kill to be stopping at some truck stop where the only option is to get like a veggie sandwich from Subway and a Coke Zero. Like I would kill to do that, knowing we're driving to another town to do a show. Like I would just like the idea of having green room pizza at a comedy club, and I'm so hungry that I have to eat it because we've been driving all day. It's like that. Like I would love to be in that, like, oh God, it's not vegan and gluten-free, but I'm so hungry because we drove 4 hours to do a show. I would be so fired up for that. I mean, like, oh.
I have been having dreams of like scenarios where like that would never probably happen, you know, but like I've just been having these dreams, and it's like I had a dream that I took this random casino gig that I will probably never take again in my life, but I was so desperate to just perform that I just took it. And the person was like, "Well, it's the feature spot. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "I don't care what I'll host. I don't care. I just want to be on stage." And I took the feature spot. And then the headliner was somebody who I started comedy with, who I never got along swimmingly with. And so like I get there and he goes, "Oh, Ron Placone's my feature." And I'm like, "Oh man, no way." And then I'm like, I don't want to take this gig anymore. But then randomly my wife just appeared out of nowhere, and she's like, "I'm here for the free food and hotel. You're taking the gig." And I was like, "All right." And then I woke up, and that was like the entire dream.
Your wife visited you in your dream and went, "Ron, take the gig. Free food.
Taking the gig.
Take the gig.
You're doing this for fun. Put your ego aside and just do the gig."
Shut up. The hotel's got a breakfast buffet. Take the damn gig. I don't care. Just shut up and take it.
I got nostalgic when I had an English muffin the other day. Because, I mean, that's like such a common fare in the continental breakfast that we would find ourselves in so often. But like, you know, I would go down having just woken up, and then I'd see you down there and you'd be like, "Oh, I've been up for 7 hours. I worked out twice already." And I'm like, "I know. Good morning, Graham."
While I'm taking like bananas and apples for our drive to the next town to put in our little bag of snags.
Yes. Graham, your picture is frozen, but your audio is coming in clear.
This keeps happening to me lately.
You're smiling. You're smiling.
Usually my frozen face is something horrific. This one looks great. This one looks like I'm singing.
It is a nice frozen face. Yeah. I mean, you look very happy. You look like we just got word that live comedy is back, and you're excited.
That's what I'm going to look like when live comedy comes back.
Oh man. Gives us something. Now you're just a gray wall. Gray wall Graham.
Gray wall Graham. All right. Hold on.
Now you're just a thing. But we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Are you there, or are you like rebooting?
I'm gonna have to reboot. So
Okay. Take your time, do your thing, man. It's all good. This is fun inauguration chat day, where we're all right. So Graham's gotta hop off and hop back on because his overlords at the Kremlin decided he doesn't get a picture for a minute, and the or no, what's the thing we say? The swinging robot dicks of technology, knocked out his technology, basically. Where of course, whenever Graham and I do a show together, there is always a portion where we just reminisce about live performance and how much we freaking miss it and how much we miss the road, even the shitty parts. Like, it's gotten to that point where even the shitty parts we miss. I know it's a cliche. You don't know what you got till it's gone, but I mean, I've always loved it. It's not like every time I've been on the road in my life, I knew there was nowhere else I'd rather be. You know what I mean? Even if it was, I'm tired and it's a long drive, and the only option is a veggie sandwich or like a gas station cookie, and I'm like, geez, I wish I could just cook myself a meal right now. Or going back in the day when I would eat ramen a lot because I would this was back when I was really living 1 gig at a time, and it wasn't glamorous. So I would get those crates of ramen noodles from Aldi because you could get a crate for a pretty cheap amount of money. And I would travel with a crate of ramen, and I figured out how to make ramen in a hotel coffee maker. Which, by the way, quick aside, and then we're going to get into some inauguration talk, and Graham's going to get back on here once his picture's good. But quick aside, I have been making ramen. Well, I don't do it anymore, but for years, I made ramen with like a hotel coffee maker or like with a microwave. I knew how to do that. There's a way you can do it, and I knew how to do it. And not too terribly long ago, there was a video about how to do that, and it went viral. And it was like, people thought, I guess, that this person, whoever made the video, and it was a fine video. I mean, kudos to them. I don't remember who made it, but it's like people thought this person invented it. Like they were the first person to figure it out. And I saw that video and I'm like, I've been doing that for years. And then I'm like, why didn't it ever dawn on me? Because I'll make like goofy road videos and stuff like that. That's something that I had done some over the years. And I'm like, why didn't it ever dawn on me to make a video of that? And I mean, I guess that could have been me. You know what I mean? Like maybe I could have done that. Yeah. All right. So anyway, sorry about that. That was on my mind. I'm like, I've been doing that for you, and it's not hard. You just use the water and you pour it down. But yeah. Anyway, let me go see what you guys are saying for a little bit, because I planned on talking about the inauguration today, and Graham will be back here shortly once he figures out his camera sitch. Christopher Walker, thank you for bringing this up, and thank you for the super chat contribution. And I actually wanted to mention this, and I'll mention it now since you bring it up. Chris says, Woody Guthrie turned over in his grave listening to J-Lo sing the whitewashed version of This Land Is Your Land. Wish Americans knew the rest. Yes, I tweeted about that earlier today. J-Lo did sing This Land Is Your Land, which I don't really have much of an opinion on J-Lo one way or another, because I don't know much about her other than just she's a big pop star. That's all I know. But she sang This Land Is Your Land, which in many ways is the most appropriate song for right now. But it's not appropriate for the way they think it is. It's appropriate because it's actually a protest song. It's actually a song calling out the ruling class of the United States. It's actually a song showing that working class people have been abandoned in this country. And of course, that's most shown in the third verse, which, spoiler alert, J-Lo did not sing. I think Graham's back. Graham, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up? I don't know what.
It happens.
I don't know.
It happens.
It's been happening more lately. So
Oh man.
It's because I did that Panquake thing with Susie Dawson and Bill Binney. So that's why it keeps happening more.
Yeah, there's a bunch of robotic drones just hovering over you that they strike when you least expect it.
That's what they do.
Just the robot dicks just flying in. You can't. It's invisible to the naked eye. That's why neither of us saw it. But they zoom in and zoom out.
Robot dick drones are probably the single greatest threat to the human life right now.
I agree. Killer band name, but big threat to humankind.
I saw them at a side stage at Bonnaroo years ago before they made it, and it was amazing.
You know what, man? It's weird. So Bonnaroo gave them a shot when no one else did. They were unsigned, unrepped, and I think it was actually one of the Bonnaroo interns who saw potential there and was like, we got to give them like a 20-minute. And the singer, you know what the singer did? He actually helped build some of the tents in the mornings to get more spots. So they played throughout the entire festival. They played every day. They were only supposed to play for one day, but they got to play all 3 days because that dude showed up and was building tents at 6 a.m. I mean, that's dedication to the cause, man. I feel like they still, I look forward to their next album. I think they still have some maturing to do, but you got to respect that band. They're like the Violent Femmes. They bring all their equipment on the bus. You cannot fuck with robot dick drones.
Yes.
Drone robot dicks, whatever.
Amazing band name riff I think I've ever heard, Ron. I mean, that was like you just wrote a 3-act play on that. I was like, wow, is this a real band? Like I thought like maybe I thought we were just joking, but I was like, I guess it's a real band. This is a real band. Ron is
Graham, we all have our niches, and making up shit about fake bands is mine. Actually, I'll give a total peek under the hood here for everybody. There is actually a remnant of truth in that. What I just described, a band that I was like loosely friends with in childhood, like friends of friends, like I knew them. That's actually something that they did for more dates on the Warped Tour.
Wow.
Yeah. Real band that I knew growing up in Pittsburgh. They got a spot on the local Warped Tour and it went okay. And their stage attendance was all right. And the singer actually helped set up stages, literally help build like some of the side stages. This was back when Warped Tour had a bunch of stages going on at the same time. Well, and it was also back when Warped Tour was a thing. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But when it was a thing and also had like a lot of stages, more than just a handful, he would like build some of the stages. So the band got a couple more Warped Tour dates because of that. They were like, this is stage builder guy.
Felt very detailed, your riff. And I was like, it feels like a real event. Like this really happened. Okay. That was like, wow, that was really.
They were not called the Drone Robot Dicks, but they were a band. Their name was kind of like that. It was, but yeah, wow. So have you caught any of the inauguration?
Yeah, I did catch a little bit of it. I was watching the gift exchange they just did with Mitch McConnell and Pelosi. And I've been seeing online the photos of Bernie sitting all alone.
Don't you just love how when Bernie was about to, like when there was a chance Bernie could be president, they shamed him for having a winter coat. Now that there's no chance he can be president, they're talking about how cute his mittens are.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's like our media is like if a condominium trust fund could just start making news.
Yeah, I was actually watching Fox News to see there after Biden's, gave his speech and he's calling for unity. Well, that's a good thing. He didn't mention Trump's name. All right. And Chris Wallace on Fox was sort of talking about democracy and it's okay to have an open debate, but you can't siege the Capitol and whatever. I was like, all right. I'm struck by so many things. First of all, why are all of these old people still in power? Like, Pelosi, McConnell, Biden. I just am like, it's just, I'm done. I'm just done with the whole thing. Okay. I'm glad Trump's gone. Great. What happened 2 weeks ago was horrific. But I'm scared that they're going to use that. You know, if you're an armed neo-Nazi group and you want to kill people and you were at the Capitol and they're weeding out, neo-Nazi people from them, they got those 12 National Guardsmen, police departments are starting to do that. Well, that's a good thing. But I'm really worried they're going to use that as just Patriot Act 2.0. So now if the Sunrise Movement goes and peacefully sits at the Capitol, demand a Green New Deal like they did 2 years ago outside of Pelosi's office, they're going to be called domestic terrorists. So there's a lot of that hanging over this. But in terms of the inauguration itself, I mean, myself, after 2 weeks ago, I was like, it was today just going to be just open warfare and mayhem in the streets. I haven't heard of any of that, of any of the other Capitol buildings. I don't know if anything has happened at the other Capitol buildings. I haven't seen any news of that, so I don't know. I can't.
I haven't either. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. As of the recording of this right now, who knows? Who knows what could happen in the ether when the podcast is out later? Who knows? But
yeah. Maybe there's something happening and we just haven't heard it yet. I don't know. I mean, so it seems like everything has gone off without a hitch in terms of just no violence, which I don't want any violence. And, Biden, the first thing that he's done, okay, got us back. I mean, these are all the things that, that when people, the centrists were, didn't want Bernie, and Bernie ultimately capitulated when he could be standing there today, we could be having a totally different conversation. But what happened. So
I'd be in DC. I think you probably would. Well, I guess because of the pandemic, I might not be, but I don't know. Would try to figure out a way.
We talked about it. I mean, a year ago, we had our conversations a year ago on both of our shows were very, very different. So it's hard to not feel a little like, oh God, we had so much hope and Bernie was like winning and he's going to win Iowa and all this stuff. So that didn't happen. And so, Biden already has signed all these executive orders. Okay, great. And he appears he's having the appearance of, we got a lot of stuff because when he became vice president, they had the financial crisis. Well, now they have a financial crisis. They have a pandemic. They have a country on the brink of civil war. They have way worse than what they had in 2009 when they got sworn in. So, okay, we're back in the Paris Accord. All right. Getting rid of the Muslim ban. Okay, good. But you helped bomb a lot of Muslims, Biden, but okay, you're going to not ban them. Okay, great. You are going to make a national mass mandate. You want to have 100 million vaccines out in 100 days. Okay. These are all things that are bold the 100 million vaccines is bold, but here, the thing I was worried about a Biden presidency, and again, he's only been president for 5 hours or whatever, but is that he's just going to push back. We're back in the Paris Accord. Great. That's not going to prevent climate collapse. We're in climate collapse. We need a Green New Deal. So this is my problem with the centrism is Biden is just going to, he's going to put back all of the rollbacks that Trump did. Right. And then the left, the liberals, they're not lefty. They're liberals. They're the problem. Martin Luther King called them the problem. Malcolm X called them the problem. Phil Oakes called them the problem. Is they're going to go, we did it. Bing, ding dong, the witch is dead. Trump's gone. And now look at all this. It's like the Paris Accord. Okay, great. Paris Accord. We're past that point. We need a Green New Deal. The climate is still collapsing, everybody. I hate to break it to you. It's still collapsing. And
yeah, you're not going to be able to yell at storms like, hey, stop. Didn't you hear? We're back in the Paris Accord. Sea level, stop rising. Ice stop melting. Didn't you see the news?
Hey,
we need to pipe MSNBC to the ice caps. They'll get it. They'll stop.
Hey, climate refugees. The Paris Accord is here. So he said he's shut down the Keystone Pipeline. We'll see about that because he helped put that in place while he was vice president with Obama. They helped. They stopped it, but stopped it.
They stopped it, but they let it get to a certain point before they stopped it. And and that's the thing. It's like there's all these, there's all these things where it's like, hey, this isn't a bad thing. This is good, but this is nowhere resembling enough. And how do you, because I kind of feel the same way. And I think a lot of people do. And I think it's totally okay to feel this way where you're like, yes, I'm glad that Trump's gone. No, I'm not glad. When we're in a situation and we needed an FDR, we're getting something to the Reagan. I'm not happy about that. And you know, it's a weird place to be. Like, it's a weird headspace because it's like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had a big smile on my face when I heard someone on the news say former President Trump, but that smile went away when I heard President-elect Biden and I saw Bernie sitting down in the background instead of hearing President-elect Bernie, you know? So it's
today, President Bernie Sanders.
I know.
We should be saying President Bernie Sanders today. And, you know, Vice President Nina Turner should be the first in person of color as the vice president, not Kamala Harris, who put 100,000 black men behind bars, who bailed out, you know, didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin, who as district attorney in San Francisco, you know, protected pedophile priests. So this is the big hooray and the big change. And so it's just like like, okay, the Muslim ban, great. Get rid of the Muslim ban. Are you going to keep bombing them like when you were vice president and took us from 2 wars to 7? I mean, they're already talking about Juan Guaido, the rightful leader of Venezuela. So you're already full of that crap. Where's our Medicare for all? The president now, who's now President Biden, can do student debt forgiveness with the swipe of a pen. He wrote something like today. It was like, they said he's going to like, more deferments for student loans or some nonsense like that. But it's like the president via executive order, which is literally just a stroke of a pen, can get rid of 85% of student loans. Ron, you probably know this. Your audience might not, are federal.
Right.
And so they're forgiven. It's not even, we don't even need to come up with tax dollars. We just say, you don't have to pay us back. Mm-hmm. Like and the president could go boom today. He could do that. Boom today. That'll help with people who are struggling right now. Cause I guarantee if you lost your job or you're barely working or I guarantee you having a student loan payment is not helping, and getting it deferred is just kicking the can down the road. Like, oh, you can't get evicted yet. No. And we need rent forgiveness. Now, supposedly in Biden's new stimulus, there's going to be rent forgiveness. Like California is going to get in the neighborhood of $20-some billion. I just did a story on it on my show, Political Vigilante. So it's like, I'm gonna say this on my show, and I'm gonna post it on all my social media platforms, which is, okay, liberals, no more excuses. You've got the White House, you've got Congress, and thanks to what happened in Georgia, you've got the Senate. It's not a divide. It's 50-50. Doesn't matter. Kamala Harris, the VP, rules. So there's no more excuses. You can't blame Trump. You can't blame the Republicans. You can't blame Russia, Burn Bros, or Jill Stein, or Susan, or any other bullshit. Now you better get this done, because I've been here before. I was here, Ron, and you were here. What was it? 12 years ago, when Obama and Biden had the House and the Senate, and they did all this centrist nonsense. So this is, and all this, we're going to pull Biden to the left and hold him accountable. Even AOC put out that tweet of like, this isn't enough. Oh, gee, wow. So Jimmy Dore said, F you for not giving Medicare for all. And you said, Jimmy's being violent, you little crybaby. So it's time now. There's no excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses from any neoliberal candy ass out there. The Democrats have zero excuses. You cannot, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So if you don't pass the things that we want, you're going to get voted out. That Vote Any Blue will do, people, if you're so stupid that you have no excuses. The next 2 years, you have no excuses. None. You have 2 years to get everything done that you need to get done. And if you get it done the right way with progressive populist policies like rent forgiveness, like student loan forgiveness, then you will win more elections in the midterms in 2022. But if it's centrism and I don't care because let me tell you something, when the Republicans control all 3 houses, they don't care about Democrats' feelings.
No, they go nuclear. And I mean, yeah, that's the thing. If Biden mirrors what Obama did from 2008 to 2010, you're going to see the same result in the midterms. It is going to be a Republican, like it'll be a bloodbath for Republicans in the midterms. So I mean, the one thing, and I know we've talked about this before, I think it's appropriate to reiterate today, is that I don't think people are asleep the way they were in
That's
2008.
absolutely
I
true.
mean, a lot of it's like Obama won, and he was just so well liked then. I mean, I voted for him, and even though he wasn't my first choice, Dennis Kucinich was, I still was happy when he won, and I'm like, this guy's to be the bridge to the better tomorrow. He's going to start whittling away into the type of world that I want to see in this country and more left-minded people want to see in this country. I really thought that for a long time. And then, it was not the case. It was a lie. But I think that this time around, Joe Biden is not, Mr. Popular Magoo amidst the American people. I mean, and even beyond shows like this and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of regular people, like, who may not be as who don't follow things as closely as some others. A lot of people are saying this was a vote against Trump, not a vote for Biden.
Yeah.
Biden was not a popular, and he's still not. I mean, again, he didn't win the election. Donald Trump beat himself.
Right.
Like, so.
And I think too, like, to your point, people are a little more woken up for sure. I think that I agree. Look, man, Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's homes were vandalized 2 weeks, a little over before the Capitol thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were vandalized, saying, give us money, give us $2,000, cancel rent. And I think, look, over the summer, the people in power, the ruling class, and then these two ridiculous parties that are the puppets of the ruling class, they got a little scared over the summer. And while I don't condone neo-Nazis going to the Capitol building with guns, wearing Camp Auschwitz shirts and shit, that's awful. I got to tell you, it might be, I don't know that it's necessarily, well, let's just put it this way. The politicians in the Capitol were scared by a group of American people. Those people were, I don't condone them. They need to be held accountable. But they realizing from the summer protests of George Floyd, the tearing down of statues. Look, Jackie Lacey, we know this in Los Angeles. Jackie Lacey, a black woman, was protested for 2 or almost 3 years every Wednesday outside of her office as district attorney of Los Angeles. And she got voted out.
Yep.
And so they're realizing, and the fact that now AOC is talking all like, we need to hold them accountable. She felt the pressure from Force the Vote. I know she did. I mean, she buckled because she's weak.
Well, I think they did.
But they're all, I think the people in power are like, hey man, no one's phoning it in anymore. Everyone's paying attention. So there's going to be protests, and there should be protests outside of Pelosi's office, outside of AOC's office, outside of the peaceful, nonviolent protest. But like, hey, this ain't enough. I mean, climate is collapsing. The coastlines. I mean, when Florida has it, people are literally moving away from the beach in Florida. Florida is going to be the front line of the rising tides from climate collapse. Right. So, and this is going to happen in Biden's first term. And so I just like, people better, I don't want to hear, you can't blame the Republicans anymore. I don't want to hear it. And so if people don't hold Biden accountable, if these neoliberal candy asses, many of whom are in my dumb Generation X, just like, lesser of two evils. Okay, shitheads, this is what you get. Listen, all right, this is what you get. So there's no more excuses. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from anybody. Any of you liberal shitheads watching this show, you crybaby applesauce.
I don't know if any of them are, but
centrist morons. Well, share this on your Facebook because they're on Facebook. That's where they live. So
that's where they hang the most.
That's where they hang out the most, in that old dumb platform that was really viable 10 years ago. So
that Instagram, because it's owned by Facebook, like that's the other place where you always get, like, whenever I post stuff there, I'll always get a couple like, oh, can't you just be happy? Can't you just be happy that Biden's here? Can't you just don't you think that's a little far?
Don't be mean to the squad. There are allies. No, if they said they were going to do a thing and they don't do it. Like, what has the squad done in 2 years? Name it. List off all of the things the squad has done in 2 years. Have they even introduced a bill, even if it didn't pass? That was like awesome, but they couldn't get enough. But nothing. What have they done? They're really good at tweeting.
A lot of likes on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Ministry of Appeasement, man.
Ministry of Appeasement.
That's what I call. I mean, and I don't, like, I've unfollowed literally every single. I mean, I wasn't following a lot to begin with, but I unfollowed every single elected official. And I mean, I know this is like not making an actual difference, but like, I refuse to like any tweet that a politician puts out. I refuse to retweet anything that, unless I'm commenting on it to call it out, then I'll retweet it for that. But I won't just retweet it to like celebrate it. I'm like, no, I don't care how nice it sounds, because my mom taught me very young that actions speak louder than words. And I am so tired of when the whole thing went down with the pandemic and they kept tweeting about a universal, or excuse me, a pandemic UBI, an emergency UBI, and they kept tweeting about it and tweeting about it and tweeting about it and taking virtually no action. It's like, this is just, you guys are just a placebo.
Yes.
Like even if your intentions are genuine, it doesn't even matter, because you're just being a placebo, whether you're willful or not.
If they still are honest and decent, believe what they wanted, you show me the action. Where have you done it? Don't show me your Twitter. Don't show me your interview. I don't care. Where is it? Where's the legislation? Where's the bill that was passed? Where's the thing that I can point to, say, oh, they got that passed. That's why my life is better. That's why I'm not struggling as much. Where is it? Show it to me. Because, Obama said hope and change, and then I lost my home. So I don't care. Hope and change doesn't mean anything. Likes and whatever. I just don't want to hear it. So, okay, ding dong, the witch is dead, but now what? Like Ice Cube said, now what? Okay, Trump's gone. Now Trump's gone. There's no more. There's none. The Capitol was in siege today. There was no violent insurrection. Joe Biden, the ink is dried. He's the president. That's it. And everyone, and the people who won in Georgia, the Senate, the Congress, this is it. So where is it?
Yeah.
And well, give him time. He just, no. The world is collapsing. This is worse than what FDR inherited. It's worse than what Obama inherited. This is worse. FDR had a global financial meltdown, but he didn't have a pandemic. So, where is it? I don't want to hear it. We don't have time for centrism. And no,
we don't. To the people saying, oh, give them time. It's like, look, there's time. You're having your inauguration today. Have a ball. But we're here. Tomorrow morning, we're awake. We're awake. We're not going anywhere. Give them time. Like, we're waiting. We're waiting. We're right here.
All of our rent is due in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. How about you give us time? How about you give us time for a change?
Yeah. I don't give a shit that, oh, wait, give him time. No, I don't care. There's a million things you can do by executive order. You need to do that right now. You need to be introducing bills right now that can be passed right now, because you control both places. So I don't want to hear it. Like, it's January 20th. Okay. So in 11 days, 12 days is February 1st.
So I want to,
where's my money?
Dude, I actually, this is going to be probably my final thing on Trump, probably, but I wanted to go here with you. So Donald Trump is not going to pardon Assange. It didn't happen. We all thought it likely wouldn't, but we all did everything we could to try. I feel like people did as much as they could to try to, make that happen, and it did not. And here's who he did pardon. First of all, we know he pardoned a bunch of war criminals. He did that. Here's a list of some of the people he pardoned. Now look at all this stuff. We're going to just skim this a little bit. Financial crimes, firearm violation. Let's see, lending crimes, laundering. By the way, he pardoned Steve Bannon. And here's one I just want to highlight quick. Paul Erickson Erickson, a conservative operative with ties to the NRA, came under scrutiny during the investigation into Russian election interference. He pleaded guilty to wire fraud and money laundering in an unrelated case. Now, what this says, because I know some people, they try to make excuses for Trump, like, oh, well, if Trump, he can't pardon Assange because of all the Russiagate hysteria and all the Russia hysteria. If he does that, it'll look suspicious, so he just can't do that. No. He clearly doesn't give a shit about that. He just pardoned somebody that was also tied into all that hysteria. So he has no excuse whatsoever. He has no excuse for not pardoning Assange.
It's, Jimmy went on Tucker Carlson and basically convinced Tucker Carlson in real time why Trump should do this. And then Tucker said, wow, more journalists should be talking about this, which just shows you how complicit the corporate media is to the, illegal incarceration of Julian Assange. And, when I was watching the video he put out yesterday, and he was like, one of the most important parts of America is freedom and freedom of speech. And I was like, is this how he's going to stick it to him because he got kicked off of Twitter? I was like, it sounded to me, and maybe I was being overly optimistic because I really wanted Assange, as we all do, to be pardoned. And then he didn't. And then they released the White House, and Julian's mom tweeted out that her son was not, which was just kind of heartbreaking. I mean, yeah, there's everything. It's all there for Trump to do this. And even if I was hoping his narcissistic pettiness would actually break in Julian's favor, and I'm going to just stick it to the deep state and whatever, and the Democrats. I know the Clintons hate Assange, so I'm going to pardon him. I was like, I don't care what his reasons are.
Right.
I just want a publisher to be out of jail, because jailing a publisher, if Julian's in jail, then round up everybody at the New York Times and the Washington Post, and like
the Guardian.
Get them all then, if that's how you're going to do this. So, or everyone needs to be free, and so does Edward Snowden,
right? And
Chelsea Manning. So, like, it's always, it just shows, this notion that Trump was an outsider it's also his pardon list shows how much he's not an outsider.
Right.
Because
financial crimes, like war crimes. Yeah.
Anyone that protects and is part of the ruling class, or at least works to protect them, or profits from their wars and their banking, they get a free pass. Leonard Peltier, no. Julian Assange, no. Like, come on. It's preposterous. So this notion, Trump is he's definitely part of the ruling class. He always has been. He was born into it. He's just a loud, obnoxious guy that makes the racist country club look bad. You know what I mean? Like, he's Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack is who he is. Basically, he just shows up. Hey, Wang, it's a parking lot. And he's rude and crass at a country club that, doesn't allow Jews and blacks to join it. You know what I mean? So, or Catholics, so that's who Trump was. And, this pardoning war criminals, because that's the other thing, Joe Biden, he's putting us in the Paris Accord, and he's banning, he's reversing the Muslim ban. What's going to happen with the military budget?
Right.
What's going to happen with all the countries we're bombing? What's going to happen with the sanctions on these countries like Venezuela and Iran that don't want to give us their oil? We're going to keep, I mean, don't be surprised if within the year we're in a ground war with Iran. Don't be surprised. And then what?
Dude, during the inauguration, I saw they had Leon Panetta on, who was a former defense guy, Democrat, by the way. And within a 1-minute segment, he beat the drums for war against Iran, against North Korea.
Yep.
He beat the drums for the Cold War with Russia and with China. And then he talked about how he beat the drums for a civil war here at home.
Jesus.
But in like a minute segment, just talking about it like it's nothing. And it's like, oh, this is the change. This is the
whole, this is the new, this is the resistance.
what you got to look forward to.
Yeah. Believe me, it's going to be more Obama, Clinton era, Wall Street, war. But, we're going to have all of these, like all of his cabinet appointments, the corporate media, including people like Amy Goodman at Democracy Now!, are going to be fawning all over all this. It's the first woman this, it's the first person of color for that. Okay, great. But they won't go deep onto where the person's history is. Like it should be reversed. It should be this person, like the defense secretary, that guy, he's on Raytheon's board of directors. This is a clear conflict of interest. Oh, by the way, he'll be the first black man in this position. But the conflict of interest is the bigger point. So the corporate media and even the fake progressive media is going to be screaming, oh, yay, look at how diverse it is. But they're not going to go like look into Avril Haines, like all these people that are just have these horrific war, oil lobby. I mean, like money, like it's just on down the line, big banking. I mean, like they want to try to, regulate and control Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Like it's just the same old nonsense, but it'll have a rainbow flag on it. So everyone on the dummy liberals will go, yay, look at all the change. Now women and people of color can bomb us and steal our money and torture people and oh, yay. Like, so,
well, and just to tie it back to the story, what kind of outlet does expose those kind of things you talked about, the conflicts of interest, the histories, places like WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
And Julian Assange is still in prison. And, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's hard to just sit through today and feel anything other than just complete disgust at the entire situation. Even though it's like, yeah, I'm happy Trump's gone, sure, but this is still our system. The ugliness of our system that makes a Trump a possibility in the first place, that's still here.
I will take to my grave that it's the Democrats' fault we had Trump.
Me too. Yeah, no objection here.
It's so this notion that these idiots think that like racism just appeared 4 years ago, like corruption just appeared 4 years ago. I mean, it's just like, it is maddening to me, and it's like, and to watch the media talk about, well, Trump whipped up his base with this election fraud nonsense. Who was screaming Russia hacked our elections for the last 4 years? You were CNN, you were MSNBC, you were ABC. Like, I don't want to hear it, man. They screamed Russia, which just helped plant the seeds of our elections are fake. So when Trump lost and said, oh, Joe Biden hacked the election or whatever, the corporate media is complicit in all of this. They're complicit in giving Trump a platform. Les Moonves said he was good for ratings. We all talked about how they cut away from a Bernie speech in 2016 to go to an empty Trump podium. I mean, did you hear what Trump said today? That's good ratings. That's good clicks. And the media knew that. They helped create this insanity.
We'll still get a little more of that. I mean, that doesn't end today. Right. Today. I mean, that's still going to be, they're still going to like milk all that for as much as they can. Like Trump's playing golf right now, and here's his thought on something.
Yeah.
But well, I want to talk about this too. This is the other thing I wanted to bring up. We've mentioned all of the things that Biden could do via executive order and just via like stuff he can just start doing on day one. Here's what he really wants to do. Biden lifts his healthcare plan from insurance lobbyists. I mean, there were some grumblings that Joe Biden was going to, or not necessarily Biden, but like the people around him were going to try to force an emergency universal healthcare plan for the pandemic, like a healthcare plan for the pandemic. And the reason that is so significant, or would have been so significant, is not only because obviously it gives healthcare to everyone during a pandemic, but also because once that would be in place, it'd be very hard for them to take it away. Ask all the countries with universal healthcare, which are, by the way, pretty much every other industrialized country except for us. Once you get it, they can't really take it away. So it would have been very plausible that if we got some kind of emergency universal healthcare system, they wouldn't have been able to take it away. Even if they told us it was temporary, we would have been able to fight for that thing and to keep it. But That's why that's not what Biden's looking to do. Here is what he's looking to do. He's looking to give the type of healthcare plan that insurance lobbyists drafted up for him. And by the way, here's what it does. His new COVID relief plan does not adopt existing Democratic legislation to expand medical coverage, nor does it propose a promised public health insurance option. So that public option, it doesn't even do that. Instead, it adopts proposals from health insurance lobbyist groups. And what does it do is it just gives the insurance companies a bunch of money to provide subsidies to Americans. Basically, it's the Affordable Care Act. It's the Affordable Care Act with a little more money pumped into it, which, by the way, has failed because they just keep pumping up the prices. It varies who qualifies for subsidies and who doesn't. So healthcare is still unaffordable, or you have some bogus plan where your deductible is so freaking outrageous, you might as well not have anything anyway. So they're just allowing that to continue. That's Biden's healthcare plan. Give the insurance companies more money.
Of course. And this is like the fact that we can't have Medicare for all, free healthcare in the middle of a pandemic, and all those Western countries, in Western Europe and all those industrialized nations that have it. It's not a coincidence too that all of those countries were able to give their citizens like 80 to 90% of their paychecks. So no one's behind on rent in any of those countries that have had healthcare for 70 years. And one of the reasons we have all this division in this country is because people couldn't work. The government gave them nothing, little to nothing. Some people got unemployment that they were able to live on, but a lot of people couldn't. And small business owners got loans. And that's why people were like, the hell with this. We got to go back. We got to open the country up. I mean, I think it was dangerous and not good for COVID, and the COVID numbers prove that. But I understand somebody like financially so desperate that they're like, I want to open this up. And so in all these countries where people were taken care of by their government, many of them socialist, evil socialist countries, they had no anti-mask protests. They had no people fighting in stores about wearing them. And they didn't have any of that because people were taken care of financially. So, right. I mean, Biden's talking about rent forgiveness in this $2 trillion stimulus plan. AOC's like, oh, it's not enough. All right. I mean, whatever, man. Pressure the hell out of these people because the Democrats have no excuses anymore. None. I don't want to hear it. So you better demand free health. We need free health care. No ifs, ands, or buts. Don't take table scraps. Don't take incrementals. Well, we'll get it now. How are you going to pay for it? The same way we pay for all the wars. Next question.
Yeah, no kidding. Question. I mean, yeah, just shut that down right away.
Yeah.
Just shut that down right away. And, this healthcare plan here, this healthcare plan that he's going after now, that the insurance industry literally wrote, this is a page out of Paul Ryan's playbook. This is a page out of, well, we just need to give these for-profit entities more money, and that'll fix everything. No, that makes it worse. You're feeding the parasites. The parasites are eating the house. You want to save the house, and your solution is to make the parasites more powerful. And that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. And Joe Biden knows what he's doing. So,
yeah, it's we'll see. I mean, there's no excuses. I mean, literally, and people out there are afraid to hold official, politicians that they voted for accountable. Those are the people you should be holding more accountable because you voted for them, I'm assuming, because they said they were going to do things that you want and need. And we need free healthcare. We need rent forgiveness, not a stay of execution, not a no eviction pay. Because part of the equation in the rent problem is not all landlords are evil rich people. Most landlords are just small business owners, that own a piece of property. They own a house that they rent, or they own a little apartment complex. And they're not billionaires. They're not even millionaires. They're just like, and they're dependent upon that rent. So giving people money to pay off their back rent makes everybody whole, because the landlord more than likely has a big mortgage on that piece of rental property that they've got to pay. And if half of the building can't pay rent and is behind 6, 9, 10 months on rent, they're in trouble. And sure, they've called, many of them I'm sure have called their banks and said, hey, give me a forbearance, and we got to hold off on this right now. But it's still a short-term fix. It's not a long-term solution. So the federal government has the money. I don't want to hear it. We can give $4.25 trillion was given to big companies and banks and Wall Street in the first CARES Act. So I just don't want to hear it. And I don't want to hear people defending Joe Biden, who wrote the 94 crime bill, who stood up for eulogized a segregationist, who, I don't know, Tara Reade. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear these Me Too people tell me believe all women except Tara Reade. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your hypocritical bullshit anymore. It's done. Trump's gone. Shut the fuck up. And if you don't hold these people accountable, you're part of the problem.
Well, I'm sorry you won't be invited to any brunches, Graham.
Oh, no. It's such a bummer listening to a bunch of, up 6 and 7 figure, Hollywood blue check liberals who think they're so woke, showing up to brunch, not giving a damn about $15 an hour minimum wage or working class people or anything like that because they've been privileged. Yeah, what a bummer hanging out with those shit heels.
So, yeah, what a day. I know you got a heart out, man. So I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna get to my super chats here. But tell everybody where to find you if they don't already know.
Yeah, go to my YouTube channel. It's The Political Vigilante. I also simulcast on Rockfin. I will be on this inauguration show with Inglese today, and I will be simulcasting it on my channel. That's at 2:00 Pacific time. And my documentary, Graham Goes to Russia, is now available at Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, it's available at the $10 level. And if you are a Rockfin premium member at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, it's in 2 parts on Rockfin. But check it out and support everything I'm doing. Thank you so much.
Nice, man. Dude, I look forward to checking out that doc.
Yeah, man.
I got to watch it. Can you mail me a DVD?
Yeah, I'm glad you got a DVD player, Ron. Yeah, absolutely.
I have a DVD player.
Yeah. Or
send it to me on VHS.
Yeah, I'll send you a VHS tape. That's easiest. That's the easiest way to do it. I'll just send you that over.
Perfect. Right on, buddy. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Graham. And I'm not going to say happy Inauguration Day because we both know how goofy that whole concept is. But yeah, everybody follow Graham, check it out. Check out The Political Vigilante. And yeah, buddy, we can do both our slogans to each other. I'll say Lucy says meow, I say peace. And you can tell me to shave my knuckles for justice.
You got it, buddy. Shave your knuckles for justice.
All right, buddy. Peace.
Later.
Graham Elwood, folks, helping me get through the inauguration. Let's see. So let me go back, guys. The channel is remonetized again, which is really exciting. And thank you all for your support and your love. I appreciate that so much. So let's go through the chat now to see what you guys are saying. This was a kind of more, I don't know if laid back's the right word, because this is a pretty laid back show for the most part, but this was a more casual discussion of the inauguration around a show, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right way to, but I think you guys know what I mean. I think you know what I'm getting at when I say that. But either way, let me go see what you guys are saying here. Goji Razilla, I like that. 1. Goji Razilla 1. Slogan time. It's not the left. It's not the right. It's the 1% we fight. I like it. Thank you, Goji. I dig that. Christopher Walker, we talked about yours briefly, but we'll do it again. Woody Guthrie turned over in his grave listening to J-Lo sing the whitewashed version of This Land Is Your Land. Wish Americans knew the rest. Yeah, J-Lo sang This Land Is Your Land, and like they typically do, they omit that third verse. They omit, I think it's actually 2 verses, but the final verses of that song make it obvious that that song is not a rah-rah America song. That song is a protest song. That song is an angry song. That song is a song calling out the hypocrisies of America and calling out the inequality and the haves versus the have-nots. That's what that song's really about. So it was very appropriate for that song to be playing today. Very appropriate. But not for the reason they thought it was. And they omitted those verses I'm referring to. They did not sing those verses that I'm referring to. And if you learned that song in school, as I did, they did not teach you those verses. I was not taught those verses in school. I'd imagine you likely weren't either. And in the J-Lo performance, they omitted those verses. And then instead, they went into God Bless America. So, and you know what? This isn't also an aside. They did the national anthem. I picked this up from watching hockey because I love hockey. In the Canadian national anthem, they sing part of it in French. In the United States national anthem, we had to omit some of the verses because they celebrate slavery. The verses do. So I'm not saying Canada's perfect. It's not. You're not perfect, Canada. I'm not going to pretend that you guys don't have your problems. I know you do. Sometimes, like, I talk about other countries, and you guys email me and you're like, Ron, it's not perfect over here. I know you have your problems too. But I'm just saying. Brainweight, what's up? Brainweight, Bone Spurs, Quacker Bush. Some of your guys' handles are funny. I don't know what any of that means. Uncle Joe was given a mandate and won't use it to be bold. The 2K check fiasco proves this. You mean that 1,400 and 2,000 are two different numbers? You purist. The worst is yet to come. Prepare to flee before 2024. I hope not, man. This is, I like where I live. And you guys have heard me say this before. I do not have optimism in the electoral world, at least not federally. State and local, it's a little bit of a different story. But I don't have a ton of hope electorally, and that doesn't change today. Where I do have hope is amidst we the people. That's where I do have hope. I do have hope in our ability to take control of our communities, our ability to kind of help each other, our ability to actually, in the literal sense, build back better, quote unquote. Not just in the nonsensical slogan sense, but actually, fixing up where we're at and looking out for each other. And then on the electoral front, basically forcing the powerful into a corner to make some concessions. I do have hope in that. That's where I have hope. I don't have hope in electoral politics, especially on the federal level. But I do have hope in we the people, forcing some change for the better. And, it's... I think it's a true testament to American history. The left in particular, our numbers are not necessarily huge. They're bigger than we realized, but they're not huge. And being a circular firing squad, that's kind of something that we've all been guilty of throughout history. Let's be honest, it's happened. Except for the one time it didn't. And that one time where the working class was, I wouldn't say completely united, there's no such thing, but was, for the most part, really working as a united front. What happened then? Well, we know what happened. We got a weekend. We got child labor laws. We got unions that kept a powerful working class for over 30 years. We got Social Security. We got the New Deal. That's what happened. So, obviously, there's a lot of powers that be out there. There's a lot of factors. It's not like it's any one thing. But, that says to me that when we can kind of come together, we can bring about change in this place. We've done it before. And we desperately need to do it again. I don't know all the answers. I don't pretend to. I think a general strike would sure help. We should start there. But anyway, thank you for that. Braithwaite. Christopher Walker, what's up again, buddy? Wish Money Party puppets would stop quoting genocidal Lincoln. He ordered mass executions of Native Americans trying to defend their land. # never forget. I didn't hear. I didn't. Were they doing that? I'm sure they were doing that during the inauguration. I just didn't see it. But yeah, I hear you. Wenchat, what's up, Wenchat? Thank you for the nice drawing of a face. Glad you have Super Chat back. I'm glad too, and thank you so much for that win chat, and thank you all for your Super Chats today. I appreciate it so much, and it is great to be back. I know some of you, that's how you like to support the show when you're able to and you're on stable ground financially, and I appreciate it so much. It does keep this show on the air. So thank you very much for that win chat. Goji, again, what's up, Goji? Good to see you again. Yeah, I'm thankful for Bernie's service, but respectfully moving on with the movement. I hear you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's time to kind of keep going. It's just, I can't help but feel a little. I can't help but feel a little bad when you think about, man, we could have been having our FDR, and instead we're getting another Reagan term. I can't help but have that on my mind today, Although on the same note, and was I happy to hear former President Trump? Was I happy to hear that phrase? Yes, I was. I'm glad Trump's gone, but I'm not glad to hear President-elect Biden. I'm not happy to hear that. So, and I know that's a weird place to be. And in some sense, some people might say, well, that doesn't even make sense. But I think it does make sense. I think that's what living in a plutocracy is. So, but I hear you. I'm with you. Braithwaite, what's up? So which country will Uncle Joe declare war on first to pay back Raytheon and Boeing? Yeah, I feel you. Honestly, I'm worried things are going to escalate more with Iran. I mean, they already were. I truly think had it not been for the pandemic, Trump's war would have been Iran. I think that, Trump, they assassinated Soleimani. They were instigating Iran further. I think that would have been Trump's war if not for the pandemic. I'm glad that we didn't get into a new war. Obviously, I'm glad for it. I think the only reason we didn't was because of the pandemic. But yeah. But yeah, so now, Biden is a warmonger. We all know this. Biden's a neocon. That's not an embellishment. Biden is a neocon. And if anyone tells you, oh, that's a little much. No, it isn't. No, it is. He voted for Iraq. No, it isn't. He is a neocon. He is a neocon. Never met a war he didn't like. Biden is a neocon. He is to the right of Reagan. People, oh, isn't that a little harsh saying he's to the right of Reagan? Not really. Reagan at least talked about the need for everyone to have health care. Biden won't even go that far. So, yeah, no one needs to sugarcoat what Biden is. You never did, but you really don't need to now. Kathy Lloyd, thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much. And thank you for the robot. I appreciate that. Christopher Walker, the sad excuse will be Senate 60 vote rule, #puppets. Cindy, what's up? The Paris Accord was written with the assistance of fossil fuel companies, or as they are better known, Biden's donors. Yeah, I feel you. The Paris Accord is nowhere close to enough. I'm glad for just the world's sake. Like, I'm glad we're in it as opposed to not being in it. And let's be honest, we weren't out of it because we didn't think, we being the United States government, the Trump administration did not leave the Paris Accord because they thought it didn't go far enough for the environment. They left because they wanted to deregulate things further. We know this. So yeah, it's not a bad thing we're back in it, but it's nowhere resembling enough. So I hear you, Cindy. Absolutely. The online views of this inauguration are going to be way below Trump's 4 years ago. I'm going to go out on a limb. TV views will be the same. Well, the only reason I don't know about that, and this has nothing to do with either Trump or Biden, but just having to do with the state of the world as far as the pandemic is concerned. You have a lot of people who are just living life remotely right now. Whereas 4 years ago, that was not the case. So I have a feeling it'll probably be, more or less the same. If not, it might be higher just because of circumstantial things that have everything to do with society and nothing to do with Trump or Biden. But you're going to have more people tuning in online. And, also you have people that are happy to see Trump go, which I get. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. But here we go. Braithwaite, what's up again? Uncle Joe has stacked his administration with Goldman Sachs. Yep. Pharma. Yep. McKinsey & Co. Facebook, Amazon, Google. All the good ones. Military industrial complex operatives. Bend over, folks. It's coming. Yeah, I mean, he's the neocon leads to the neo-fascist, and they depend on each other. The most honest thing Joe Biden has said so far is nothing will fundamentally change. It's the most honest thing he said so far. And yeah, so I feel ya. Jim Garrison, a 5-spot to Ron. Thank you, Jim. And 5-spot, really cool bar in East Nashville. Check it out if you're ever there. Helena, how are you? Hello from England. Well, hello, England. All Americans are invited to come over and visit us sometime. I want to visit y'all so bad. You all be welcome, and we will give you a cream tea. So when I was over in England, admittedly, I did not have a cream tea. Sounds delicious, and I'm pretty sure I can piece together what it is. But I don't think I officially had one. Or maybe I did. When I was in London, I went to this place called it's this really popular Indian restaurant in London. I think it's called Dishoom. Is that right? Maybe. Don't quote me. It's a beautiful restaurant, though. So good. And while you were waiting, because it's a very popular restaurant, and you kind of wait for a while, but they have this beautiful bar you could wait in, and they were bringing tea out to people because it was a little colder. This was in the fall, and it's cold out in England. And they were bringing out tea, and I think one of them was like a chai type thing, and so maybe that was a cream tea. But man, it was delicious. God, I want to go to England so bad now. I loved it over there. I can't wait to now. Our tentative plans, both mine and Graham, was that we were going to do a lot of dates in the United States in 2020 because it was an election year, and of course we were hoping Bernie was going to be the nominee, and we were going to tour the United States. We had to cancel an entire year worth of tour dates, and then the hope was that 2021 we were going to go over to the UK and probably Ireland as well. So now who knows what. I mean, obviously touring will come back. We will be back when it is back. But, who knows? I mean, eventually we are going to reschedule every single date in the United States that we miss. So if we were scheduled to come to your town, don't worry, we will be there. I don't know exactly how soon. And I don't even know exactly when. But as soon as we can is the basic answer. And depending on what happens with the world, who knows? We may end up touring somewhere overseas before we're able to tour in the United States again. I don't know. I mean, it might be plausible that we're able to tour in England before we're able to tour in the US again. I don't know. I have no idea. But I just know that we'll be touring both at some point eventually. And I can't wait for that. I loved it over there. I got engaged in Edinburgh. I think you guys know that. I've mentioned that before. But yeah, I got engaged in Princess Square Garden out in Edinburgh, Scotland. I proposed, and she said yes. It was a cool place to get engaged. Had a little bit of whiskey. Had a little bit. I mean, I was planning on doing it. It's not like, I got drunk and then did it on a whim. No, I was planning it. Like I had the ring and stuff. But, I gave myself a little bit of liquid courage, and then got down on one knee, right in a patch of mud because I'm smooth like that, and I proposed. So Edinburgh is a very special place to me, and so is. I mean, culturally I just appreciate so much about England and London and Manchester especially that when I went to both London and Manchester for the first time, it felt like I was like seeing an old friend, even though I was, seeing a place I had never actually been before. But, just when it comes to like just music and culture and comedy, even there's a lot of British comedy that I love. Man, I just, God, I just love that city so much. So thank you for that, Helena. And I hope to take you up on that cream tea someday. I hope to see you on the road over there soon. Helena, what's up again? Thank you for that. And Helena, hello from England. What's up again, England? I'm quite fond of you if you haven't caught on to that yet. Did you know that Raytheon UK has just been given $1 billion for the Royal Navy? Search the article on Punchline Gloucester. Thank you for that. And yes, I do know that when it comes to imperialism, we don't completely work alone. I know we're the worst culprit, but I know that England is not perfect. I certainly know that. And Boris Johnson is no picnic, although the Tories, in many ways, are to the left of the Democratic Party in the United States. So there is that. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. Matt, what's up, buddy? How are you, Matt? This is another overlap of progressive libertarian ideology. There's a strategic way to open now. The rich are fine. The poor and mid-class are hurting. It's funny. Sometimes when I tweet things, I, because I know, like, I have some libertarians that like what I do and like the stuff and the shows and like Jimmy's show and Graham's show and my show. And that's cool. I certainly, I like it when there's people that have different political ideology that still appreciate, hearing what we have to say and find it, find it funny or entertaining or engaging and enjoy it. I mean, that's actually a huge compliment. When somebody, and I get those emails, and just so you know, I really appreciate them when someone's like, look, Ron, I have different political views than you, and I don't agree with everything you say, but I think you're funny and I like what you do and I appreciate hearing what you have to say. And even if I disagree with you, I see where you're coming from and I enjoy your show. I mean, that's a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment when someone can make you laugh, even if you don't fully agree with what they're saying. So I appreciate that. But anyway, what I was getting at here is, every now and again, I'll get something on Twitter from someone who is libertarian who says, I'll tweet something and they'll be like, Ron's becoming one of us. And libertarians, with all due respect, I'm not becoming one of you. We don't agree on everything. But when you see tweets like that and you think I'm becoming libertarian, what's actually going on is lefties and libertarians just have more in common than you realized. That's what's actually going on. Because I would probably see similar tweets from you where I'd be like, oh, so in reality, we do have a lot of things in common. We have a lot of things where we disagree too, depending on the brand of libertarian you are. And I know there's a lot of fluctuation there. When I'm saying this, of course, I'm not referring to libertarian socialists, which is an entirely different thing. But, libertarians, we're both anti-war. We're both against the corporate control of government. Now, we have some different ideas on the solution for all that, generally. And again, it depends on the brand of libertarian. But I think really, libertarians and lefties, we're not opposites. We have, and there's a really cool panel, and it was between Ron Paul and Ralph Nader. And they kind of talked about that. And it was a pretty interesting panel where they're like, look, we have our differences. We disagree on a lot of stuff, but there's a few pillars where we have things in common. And it's interesting. But anyway, when you see those tweets, I'm not becoming a libertarian, at least certainly not in the contemporary United States sense. Y'all just have more in common with lefties than you realize. We have some common pillars. They are there. So anyway, thank you for that. Edward, what's up, buddy? Thank you for the pear. I love the pears. Oh, and thank you for that. Documentary recommendation, that Tower Records documentary. I really got to check that out. So thank you for that. And thank you to all of you. Thank you, Goji Razilla. Thank you, Chris Walker. Thank you, Braithwaite. Thank you, Chris Walker again. Thank you, Wenchat. Thank you, Goji Razilla. Thank you, Braithwaite again. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Christopher again. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Braithwaite. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Helena, all 3 times. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, Edwin. Guys, I am remonetized, which is great. I know some of you, you like to support the show via the super chats, and thank you so much. That keeps the show on the air. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you very, very much for that. And also another way to support this show on the sustainability end, if you are interested and able, patreon.com/Ron Placone. For Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content. You get a Zoom show once a week. I do a Zoom show just for the patrons where I work on some new material. I do a Zoom patrons stream where I just respond directly to the patron. That goes out to everybody at first, but then the replay is only available on Patreon, and I just do it. I just respond to the patrons. And also, I'm making theme songs for people. Some of my theme songs have been used in radio commercials. Some of them have been used in as for podcasts. Some of you use my theme songs for your podcast. So I make theme songs. Some of you, I made it for your relationship. Some of you might use it at your wedding. That's super exciting. And I love doing it. It's so much fun. Like, I learn more about people, you know, and they've been so much fun to make. And you can get all that for a Give What You Can level. So if you ever wanted your own theme song, patreon.com/Ron Placone, Give What You Can level. So on Rockfin, a great cryptocurrency platform that is shared by creators. I'm on that. Graham's on that. Jimmy Dore's on that. Lee Camp is on that. Dave Anthony of the Dollop is on that. A ton of creators you know and love are on that. Richard Medhurst, Kim Iverson, The Convo Couch, tons and tons of people are on that. I'm probably forgetting some, and I apologize for that. Steve, Slow News Day, and the Action for Assange folks. So, yeah, you can also check out Rockfin if that is of interest to you. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for spending some of your inauguration with me. The stream will be back officially on Monday. And, Medea Benjamin's the guest on Monday. I am very excited to talk to her because we're going to be talking about issues of peace. And I'm pretty excited. I'm really excited to talk to her. So she's on the show Monday. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Lucy says meow. She's on the chair over there. I'm pointing to her. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.